Hi guys, welcome to the channel, Practical Reefer. My name's Mark. Now today we're going to review the Aquascape for the XL200 Reefer, and I'm going to go over my top 5 tips for doing your Aquascape. Things that I've found helpful and useful when doing my scape, and it's really helped me get through mine. So number one, which I think's helped me more with the Reefer, is know what corals you want. So things like, for me, I'm going to be putting, it's going to be an LPS and softy tank. So it's going to be things like Euphyllia up the top, so torches, hammers, frog spawns. Mid-level, potentially like zoanthids and micromussa. And then possibly at the bottom will be mushrooms, although those could be interchanged a little bit. So that was the big thing, is to know what corals you want. It kind of helps you form the scape in your mind and what needs to go where, things that might sting each other. Do you want little islands to stop anything being invasive or taking over other corals? That was a big thing for me. And also as part of that is kind of just considering your light source. So for me, I've got the max spec jump. I think it's the MJ-L165. Now it's quite a good light, and it's sort of a rectangular shape. But what it also does is it has 6 pucks. It actually has quite a good spread over the tank. So I've got a bit of play where I've got a bit more angle of the lights coming from different angles, whereas if it was maybe an AI prime, you've got a single spot which then has to just radiate out from a center point. So that's the one thing, is know what corals you want. It'll help you kind of form the scape in your mind. And what I will say as well, I'll put up a picture just now while I'm talking about it. My inspiration for this is the picture that I've got up just now. It's very much, I looked at dozens of pictures and I got stuck with like, I was trying to start the scape and I had like 10 different pictures and I was trying to pick things from different ones. And this was one of the favourites, and I ended up saying, right, this is the one I'm going to stick to. That's the picture I'm after, with a few, obviously, variations from other things that I'd seen. But I kind of just got rid of those pictures because I kept flicking through and it just kind of leaves you a bit baffled, or it did me. So I said, I mean, this scape that I've got up, I really like it. I think it's maybe on Reef to Reef that I found it, or Ultimate Reef. I should have reverse searched it to find it again where it was, to credit the person. I really like this. It uses a lot of the height which I wanted for me, and obviously it's a kind of corner tank, so kind of want to use the back quite well and then off to one side quite well as well. So he's got that slope up one side. I might have actually mirrored imaged this so it suited what I was trying to do, but that was kind of the plan. So I've kind of used this as the basis, and then I've made a lot of my own sort of personal changes in the way that I formed it, and I'll cover that in just a second, because one thing I didn't want to do is have one big massive scape, so we'll come back to that in a second. Tip number 2 is get smashing your rocks. The rocks that you'll get, I mean, when I got the rocks from Kraken, I got 13 kilos from them, and I think it was 4 or 5 different rocks. A couple of them are massive, so that was one thing to watch out for. So get smashing them now. Brother's got a past in like landscaping and fencing and putting up fences and things like that. So he actually has a massive, it's called a pinch bar. So it's about 5 feet long, weighs about 15 kilograms, and it's just like a blunt metal spear. It has a flat end on the other as well. Some people call it a breaker bar. And I'll pop a video up of that in a second, just of me smashing the rocks before we go into the next tip. But yeah, I used that, absolutely just smashed my way through a load of the rock. Ended up with, probably I was aiming for fist size or smaller, so I had a lot of big chunky bits, and then when you're smashing bits to that sort of size, you end up with bits falling off and other bits, and you even end up with like powder and just tiny little fragments that you can use to secure things and things like that. So that was one thing. Get smashing your rocks, get them down to a smaller size, and you can make the scape into the puzzle you want to make it. You're not going to be dictated by the size and shape of the rocks that happen to turn up. That's the way I done it, is just smashed it down, keep some fairly chunky bits. You don't want to be gluing rock together or cementing rock together all day long. I used the Aquaforest stone fix, I think it's great stuff. Yeah, so that was the thing, and it just helps you make a more intricate scape, just smashing that rock down to a much smaller size. So I'll pop that video of me smashing the rock just up. That bar was an absolute dream. It took me about 30 minutes to smash all the rock down into the pieces that I wanted, and I didn't have to smash any more after that. So that was a great piece. I'll pop that video up just now, and then we'll get on to tip number 3. So guys, this is all the rock. I got 13 kilos of Marco rock from Kraken, which is the 4 bits at the bottom here and the big massive chunk there. Also, probably a year or so ago, I bought some nice big bits of base rock from a shop that's no longer about in, I think it was Denny near Falkirk. So that's those 2 bits there that they've been sitting in the bottom of the tank for ages. And then I've got my kind of leftovers of the DD Aquascape rock. So 13 kilos of Marco there. I think there's about 4 or 5 kilos of the base rock. And then there's a good few kilos there. So probably a good 20 kilos all in. Nice and easy. And there we go. Absolute maximum 45 minutes later. The breaker bar, pinch bar, whatever you like to call it. Great bit of kit. So guys, tip number 3 for doing your aquascape is creating an aquascape frame or an aquascape box, as I've done here. I know BRS did one with like nice coloured pipework and sort of elbows and corner pieces, but I do like having the solid frame there. It kind of it helps imagine the space a bit better. If that was just open with just a frame on the outside, you'd maybe think you had more to play with, I think, in my head. So what I did do, it is actually a true dimension front to back here, so it is actually 450mm from this front edge here to that back board, which matches the inside of the front glass to the weir. What I did do on the width, inside glass to inside glass, remember, is 580mm. You see my little sketch. And that bit of plywood at the back is actually 500mm wide. So it's 80mm overall narrower. So although the scape is quite close either side here, when it's in the tank I'll have an extra 40mm either side to allow the scape to sit in. And what I did do as well, and I measured now on the tank, and I believe the water line should sit about 19 inches, which happens to be the height of the boards to the side. So when we come a bit more level, you can see there's one tall piece which is quite high, which is about 14-15 inches if we're lucky. And again, that just gives me an idea of the water line. So that was perfect for me. A bit narrower on the width, so it was quite handy if I wanted to like prop this piece up and use a bit of wood in here. And the best thing about that is that there was no need to lift the scape in and out of the tank. I wasn't scratching the glass and worrying about dropping it into the tank. These 2 back structures are 5 kilograms each, so that saved me a lot of stress that way. And it just meant I could be sitting in front of the scape, have all my tools around me, and I wasn't trying to work in a tank which is 2 feet deep and, you know, four and a bit feet high at the top. Just makes it really difficult. But this was the perfect way for me to do it, and I thought it was a really, really good way to go. So that's that one. So guys, this is the finished scape, or so far anyway. I haven't added anything lately. And I'm going to use this, and I'm going to talk over tip number 4. Step ladder's there for a reason. So tip number 4 is to build separate structures, or separate independent structures. My inspiration piece, which I think is fantastic, but I believe from the look of it, it was potentially one complete scape. So what I did is I built something quite similar, but I separated some of the pieces by using overhangs and just building it away. So excuse a little bit of the glare here. You'll see me in the t-shirt. So this is the scape here. As we see, we've got the left tower with the lower left branch and the higher branch at the top. And then on the right hand side, we've got the 2 snaking branches coming over from the right, and both into the middle, near enough meeting. You'll see on that one there, excuse the step ladder, they've come very, very close to meeting. And then again, we've got that kind of slope at the bottom, meeting up to the left hand tower. So my issue is, now I'm going to just let you have a little top down view, is that the back left tower, this one, weighs 5 kilograms. The back right kind of sloping piece, the main structure, that also weighs about 5 kilograms, give or take a few hundred grams, both of them. And then this bottom rock weighs, I think it's 1.5, 2 kilograms, the bottom left one there. And then we've got the base rock piece, which never would have joined anyway. So there's about 12 kilograms of rock. And then say if you join them together, there'll be a few extra pieces, a bit more cement. you know, your 10, 12, 15 kilograms maybe. And for me, that's if you ever want to remove a bit of the scape, or you ever need to catch a fish, or for whatever reason you want to remove a bit of scape, say you want to update the scape, removing that piece is going to be a nightmare. I mean, 10, 15, 20 kilograms is nothing at the gym if you lift weights, but 20 kilograms to, I'm on a step ladder now, to bend over, grab the scape, you've got your corals on there, it's going to be wet, it'll probably be an extra, I don't know, 25, 50% when it's waterlogged, though, this rock. You've got your corals, you're worried about bristleworms or stuff like that, and then you've got to very gently lift that whole scape up and over 2 feet of glass in my case. That's just, I don't want to be doing that. However, what I've been able to do is give myself a 5 kilogram structure, another 5 kilogram structure, and then another two or so kilogram structure. But what it also allows me to do, probably the big tip, that day to day will help me more, is if I decide I want to just adjust things a little bit. I say, oh, actually, I want these closer together. I want these touching to give me a little bit more space at the glass. Or if I made a slight boob of doing the scape and something was a bit too big, then I'll be like, oh, actually, I can knock a bit off there and just slide them closer together. Or I will actually, I want that a bit closer at the glass, I want them a bit further apart. Boom, done. But I'm not losing a huge amount of space here. I can glue a bit of rock on there later if I want a bit more placement, or I can glue a bit on here or on this side, and I've still got more than enough space. I'll probably bring that a little bit further away from the glass, to be honest. I'm not really losing much coral space, because a bit of coral here and a bit of coral here, I would never fit a coral there anyway. But it just gives me the ability to twist those about, get them into the perfect position, because if I'd cemented those together, they wouldn't be just quite right. I'd maybe wanted the right hand side a little bit turned, or the left hand side a little bit turned, and I think that for me the best way to go. And then also totally forgetting the little piece at the bottom, my little slope here. I might like it better that way, I might like it better that way, and again, I'm not really losing any coral placement because there's only a gap of a centimetre or an inch depending on which way I turn it, and it just allows me to get it into the perfect place I want to, and I can rotate all of these about and put them exactly where I need to put them. And I just think it gives me that bit of play with the scape, makes it easier to remove a piece in the future if I ever need to catch a fish for whatever reason, or if I want to, say, update this whole right hand side piece, say, oh, I want to change that, I can leave all the rest in, take that out and replace it. So that's probably my big one. I really like that I've just separated the structures, and it just makes it easier to then adjust things, catch fish, lift out bits of the scape, and just kind of make it perfect. I think that's what's helping me there. So that's number 4. So guys, just quickly before I go on to number 5, I'm just going to, tonight hopefully, I will film a little bit of footage of the scape, probably with the room in total darkness with a light over it, just to try and make it a bit better. Hopefully that works, it'll give you a better view. It's always a really hard thing to film, I'm finding. It's also in a corner, so I can't really get round it, and the glass obviously glares, so we'll try that with the darkness tonight. I'll see how it goes. I'm not a photographer or a filmographer, or normally just take quick videos, but we'll give that a try, and I'll put that up just now before we go into number 5. Hi guys, hopefully I wasn't lying just there and I managed to take a half decent video of the scape in the dark there with no glare and things on the glass. It is quite a difficult thing to take photos and videos of, especially when you've got other lights in the room and I've got a window here, so That certainly helped, hopefully, having it in the dark. So tip number 5, which is quite a simple one, but I think will help a lot of people, is take your time. It's just take as much time as you need. Now, I've had this tank for months and months and months, and I've actually been, just loads of other things have gotten away, like the disease that nobody's been wanting for 2 years, helping my brother do things in his house and garden when he's needed help, and family and stuff like that. So the tank's been, I've nearly had the tank like 10 months now, but it's just been where to put it, what to do, and then I've got this set up. But the Scape only probably took me, it was less than 3 weeks from smashing rock to having it totally finished. However, on each part, and I mean I was doing quite a lot and I've been working from home, so sometimes in the morning I'll glue a little bit on there, the afternoon I'll glue another little bit on, and then in the evening I'll do the same again. Early on in the Scape I did a couple of pieces and I got them glued together, they looked quite solid, and then I would move it to try and do a bit further on, and then the thing would come apart. It hadn't set. So just take your time, you know, clean the rock, prep the rock, make sure there's no dust and debris on it, get your Aquaforest stone fix on it, you know, push the pieces together, get it all pushed in and, you know, firm, and just leave it to set for 12 or 24 hours and do another piece. So I was kind of going from like left to right later on, doing a bit on one, bit on the other, bit on one, bit on the other. But yeah, just take your time, make sure it's set properly, because I had 2 or 3 times where I had quite a large piece and I was desperate to add the next little bit on, so that was dry for the next day, and I ended up breaking a couple of little bits, and then I had to just break off the stone fix and do it again. So this is definitely not a tutorial video. I haven't shown any of me doing the Scape because I've just been trying to focus on doing it rather than taking the video. But yeah, take your time, you know, plan your next piece, get it done, leave it to set, try and work on another bit, and I've had a few bits there to work on, so I've been able to chop and change. So take your time, enjoy it, plan it, think about it, you know, mull over different things. If it takes 3 or 4 weeks, you're hoping to have the tank for 3 or 4 years at least. So I would say absolutely take your time. Maybe not as much as me, but take your time. And that's it, guys. That's the Scape. So next thing is I'm going to get this filled with water. That's another video for another day. That's my notes to the side. But I hope you enjoyed the videos. I hope you like the Scape. If you've got any tips, put them down below for other people to watch. There probably will be some more bits of Scape going in here at some point. Probably like a little floating rock, either off to the right here or off on this side. That's something for another day. But I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Give me a little comment below. Don't forget to give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time.